hot.
What, Essie? I said that kitchen's awful hot. The new candy I'm making just won't ever cool.
Oh, do you have to make candy today, Essie? It's such a hot day.
Well, I have to get all those new orders filled. Edwin Allen got a bunch of new orders for me.
Oh, my, if this keeps up, I suppose you'll be opening a store.
That's what Ed was saying last night. But I said no. I want to be a dancer.
Oh, but the problem with dancing, Essie, is it takes such a long time, and you've been practicing for so long now.
Well, only 8 years. After all, Mother, you've been writing plays for 8 years.
Yes, but you can't count my first 2 years because I was learning to type.
Candy's been cooler now, Miss Essie.
Oh, thanks, Reba. I'll bring some in for you, Mother. I want you to try it.
Finish the second act, Mrs. Sycamore?
Oh, what?
I said, did you finish the second act?
No, Reba. I've just got Cynthia entering the monastery.
Wasn't she just at the Kit Kat?
Well, yes. She was at the Kit Kat Club, but then she gets tired of it, so there's this monastery, and she goes there.
Huh. Well, do they let her in?
Why, of course. I mean, it's Visitor's Day, so anyone can come. So she arrives on Visitor's Day and just stays.
All night?
Oh, yes. She stays 6 years.
6 years? Oh, I bet she busted that monastery wide open.
6 years later.
Mr. Rapina. Yeah? Mr. Rapina, can you bring up one of those new skyrockets, please? I want to show them to Mrs. Sycamore.
Sure. Look, Penny. Here are these little firecrackers we just made. We sell them 10 strings for a cent. Listen. Nice, huh? Yes, Pa. Oh, dear. Were you ever in a monastery?
No, I wasn't. Wait till you see new skyrocket. Gold stars, then blue stars, and then a bomb. And then a balloon. Mr. Depena thought of the balloon.
Oh, that's nice. Did you do all that today?
Uh-huh. We made up about, oh, here we are. It cost us 18 cents to make, and we sell it for 50.
Oh.
How many do you figure we can make before the 4th of July, Mr. Depena?
Well, we've got 2 weeks left. What day do you want to take the stuff up to Mount Vernon?
About a week. You know, we're going to need a much larger booth this year, with all the new stuff we made up. Come on, we're not through yet.
Look, Mrs. Sycamore, I'm afraid the powder chamber is just a bit too close to the balloon.
But we've got the stars and bombs in between.
Yes, but that doesn't give the balloon time enough. A balloon needs plenty of time.
Come on, let's go downstairs and try it.
All right.
Oh, wait, Mr. Depena.
Yes.
If the girl you loved entered a monastery, what would you do?
Oh, I don't know, Mrs. Sycamore. It's been so long.
Miss Alice gonna be home for dinner tonight?
What? Oh, I don't know, Reba. Maybe.
Well, I did sit a place for her, but she has only been home one night this week.
Yes, I know.
Let's see, so 6 and Miss Depena, when the Madame Pauline comes, well that makes 8, don't it? I agree.
No, Reba. I think I'm going to put this play away for a while and go back to the war play.
War play, I always love that one. Boom, boom.
They'll be better when they're harder, Mother. But try one. I want to know what you think.
They look lovely. What do you call them?
I think I'll call them love dreams.
I'm going back to the war play. Essie, what do you think?
Oh, are you, Mother?
Yes, I seem to got myself into a monastery and can't get out.
Oh, I'm sure you'll figure something out. Remember how you got that brothel? Oh my. The snakes look hungry. Did Reba feed them?
I don't know. Reba? Reba, have you fed the snakes yet?
No, Donald's coming. She always makes flies with them.
Well, just be sure you feed them before Grandpa gets home. You know how fussy he is about them.
Oh, yes.
Oh, and take Groucho and Margot into the kitchen with you. Give them a saucer of milk. And we will have another love dream.
Mr. Depena was right about the balloon. It was too close to the powder.
Do you want love dream, Father? They're on the desk.
No thanks, I gotta wash.
Oh, Paul,
I'm going back to the war play.
Oh, that's nice. We're putting red stars after the ball and then the balloon. That ought to do it.
You know, Madam Kolienkopf says I'm your most promising pupil.
You would think, with one girl in 40 months, something would happen.
See?
Hey! How are you today?
Good. I wanted to do something today.
Oh, did you?
Yep. Listen to this.
Oh, I like that, Ed. Did you write it?
No, Beethoven did.
It's lovely. Has a lot of you in it. I made those new candies today, Ed.
Yeah?
You can take them around tonight.
Alright. Now here's the finish. This is me. How's that?
Fine, Ed. Remember it when Kolienkopf comes.
Alright.
Ed, dear, why don't you and Essie have a baby? I was thinking about it just the other day.
I don't know. We could have a baby if you wanted us to. How about it, Essie? You want to have a baby?
Oh, I don't care. I'm Willie if Grandpa is.
We'll ask her.
All right.
Let's see, labor play, religious play, romance play. Oh, I know it's in here someplace.
I was right about the balloon. It was too close to the pattern.
Anything else you wanted for us, Mr. DePena? How about some more calling cards?
No thanks, I've still got most thousands.
We'll call on somebody, will you?
All right.
What do we got for dinner, Reba? I'm ready to print the new menu.
Well, I got some cornflakes, you know how Donald loves them, and some watermelon, some of them candies Miss Esty made, and some kind of meat. I forget what it's called.
I think I'll set up in bold-faced chunk. You know, if I'm going to take those new candies after dinner, better write something very descriptive.
Do you think anybody reads those, Ed? The little things you put in the candy boxes? Oh! Here it is. Warplay. Poison gas. Oh, that must be Donald. Oh, look at
Boyfriend,
Reba's
Harry?
smile. They're so cute, Donald and Reba.
Hey,
Hello,
Donald. Evening, everybody.
How you been, Donald?
I'm pretty good, Mr. Ed. How you been, Miss Sycamore?
Oh, fine, Donald, fine. Donald, were you ever in a monastery?
No, I don't go no place much. I'm on the leave.
Yes, of course.
Oh, look at the flies I caught today, Reba. Caught a big mess of them.
That's a lot of flies.
I see you've been working, Miss Sycamore.
Yes, indeed, Donald.
How's Grandpa?
Oh, fine. He's down in Columbia. Commencement exercises.
My. You certainly do roll around.
Why does he go there all the time for, Penny?
Oh, I don't know. So handy, though. Just around the corner.
Oh, Donald. You think you can help me, Mr. DePena, take the fireworks up to Mount Vernon next week?
Oh, yes, sir. Only I can't take no money for it this year. Because if the government finds out I'm working, they'll get sore.
Oh. Oh, Ed. I got the best idea to backproduce now. I was thinking Trotsky. It's yours, isn't it?
Yeah, I left it there.
Who is it? You know, Trotsky. Russian Revolution. Oh, anyway, it struck me as a great fireworks idea. Do you remember the last days of Pompeii?
Why, yes. Palisades Park. That's where we met.
Well, I'm going to do the revolution. A full-hour display.
Say.
Wonderful, Paul.
Red fires the flag?
Uh-huh. And Tsar and the Cossacks.
Oh, and the freeing of the slaves?
No, Donald. The Russian Revolution.
Oh.
Hi, Grandpa.
Well, sir, you should have been there. That's all I can say is you should have been there.
Was it a nice commencement, Grandpa?
Oh, wonderful. I tell you, they get better every year. You don't know how lucky you are, you're snakes.
Big class, Grandpa? How many were there?
Oh, well, I'd say there were about 2 acres. I tell you, everybody graduated. Yes, sir, and much funnier speeches than they had last year.
You want to hear a good speech, you ought to go up and hear Father Divine.
I'll wait. They'll have him at Columbia.
Oh, Donald, why don't you go tell Reba that Grandpa's home? We won't be waiting for Miss Alice.
Yes, sir. Reba, Grandpa's home. We can eat dinner now.
We made a skyrocket today, Grandpa. Wait till you see it.
Evening, Grandpa.
Oh, evening, Mr. DePena.
Didn't we make fine skyrockets today, Mr. Lieutenant?
We certainly did.
I wonder why they don't have fireworks commencement.
Oh, well, they don't make enough noise, you see. You get a good commencement orator going, and he'll drown out a whole carload of fireworks. Yes, sir, and say just about as much, too.
Don't the graduates ever say anything?
Oh, no. They just sit there in their cap and nightgown, receive their diplomas, and then, well, some 35-odd years later, they'll suddenly say, well, where am I?
Oh, hello, Grandpa. Have a nice day.
Hello, how nice. Don't I even get kissed?
Excuse me, Grandpa.
I'll take a tomato, too. You know, I could have used a couple of these this afternoon.
Father?
No thanks.
Ed?
No thanks, Essie.
Mother?
No thank you, dear.
Oh, well, play something, Ed.
Oh! There was a letter that came to you today, Grandpa.
For me? Well, that's strange. I don't know anybody.
It was for you, though. Had your name on it.
Well, where is it?
I don't know. Mother? Where's Grandpa's letter?
What? Oh, I think I remember seeing the kittens on it.
Well, now, who is it from? Did you notice?
Yes, it was on the outside.
Well,
It said, United States Government.
oh, really? Well, I wonder what they wanted.
There's one before that, too, from the same people. Actually, there was a couple of them.
Well, if any more come, I wish you'd tell me about them.
Yes, Grandpa.
You know, I think I'm going to go out to Westchester tomorrow to do a little snake hunting.
God is the state is God.
Well, now, what's that?
God is the state is God.
Well, now, who says that?
Trotsky.
Oh, well, that's all right. I thought you said it.
It's good for printing, you know. Good and short.
And so the beautiful princess came into the palace, and she kissed her father, and her grandfather, and her mother. Hello, dear. Hi.
Hello, darling.
Hello, Grandpa. And what do you think? They turned into the Sycamore family. Surprise. Oh, hi, Alice. Oh, hey, Essie.
Oh, Alice, I like it.
Do you?
It's new, isn't it?
Nice and summery.
Where'd you get it?
Oh, I took a walk during lunch hour.
Oh,
Well, you've been taking a lot of walks recently. That's the second new dress this week.
Oh, I just like to brighten up the office once in a while. I'm known as the Kay Francis of Coy Bean Company. Well, what's new around here in the way of plays and snakes, ballet dancing and fireworks, Dad? I bet you've been down in that cellar all day.
Huh?
I'm going back to the war play, Alice. Really, Mother? Listen.
Ed, play Alice that Beethoven thing you wrote.
Did you know you can mail a letter all the way from Nicaragua for only 2 pesitos?
Listen to this one. Kenneth, my virginity is a priceless thing to me. Listen, people. Listen. Now, I'm not home to dinner tonight.
Oh.
A young gentleman is calling for me.
Really?
Yes, I did everything I could to keep him from coming here, but he's calling for me.
Well, why don't you go stay for dinner?
No, Mother. I want him to take you all in easy doses. I've tried to prepare him a little, but don't make it any worse than you can help. Don't read him any plays, Mother, and don't let a snake bite him, Grandpa, because I like him. And I wouldn't dance for Messi, because we're going to the Monte Carlo Ballet tonight.
Well, we can't do anything. Who is he, President of the United States?
Oh, no, he's Vice President of Kirby and Company, Mr. Anthony Kirby Jr.
Oh,
Just like the movies.
Oh.
Alice?
Yes?
Are you going to marry him? Yes, of course, tonight. Meanwhile, I have to go put on my wedding dress.
Is he good looking?
Oh, yes, in a word. Does anybody know what time it is?
Oh, I don't. Do you, Paul?
Mr. Dupin might know.
It was 5 o'clock a couple hours ago.
I ought to know better than to ask you people. But will you let me know the minute he comes?
Why, yes, dear.
Yes, but I mean the minute he comes.
Of course, Alice.
Well, be sure.
Well, what do you think of that?
She seems to like him, if you ask me.
Oh, I should say so. She's got it bad. Wouldn't it be wonderful if they got married? Oh, we could have the wedding right in this room.
Now, Penny, this is the first time he's called for the girl.
Well, now, you only called for me once.
Well, young people are different nowadays.
Oh, I don't know. Just look at Ed and me. He came to dinner once and just stayed. Anyhow, I think it's wonderful. Don't you, Grandpa?
Oh, well, she certainly seems happy about it.
He must be crazy about her. Oh, maybe he's the one that's been taking her out every night. Oh, that must be him now. Now remember what Alice said. Be very nice to him. And I think they'll come right in.
How do you do?
Oh, I'm Alice's mother. It's so good to see you. Let me take your hat.
I'm afraid you must be making a mistake.
Oh, how's that?
My card.
Let's see. Oh, Wilbur C. Henderson, Internal Revenue Department?
That's right.
Well, now what can we do for you?
Doesn't Mr. Martin Vanderhoff live here?
Yes, sir, that's me.
Well, Mr. Vanderhoff, the government wants to tax you about a little matter of income tax.
Income tax?
You mind if I sit down?
Oh, no, go right ahead.
Thank you. Mother, is that Mr. Kirby?
Oh, no, dear. It's some internal something or other.
Mr. Sycamore. Oh, excuse me.
What is it, Mr. Dupina?
You think I'm not going to go up? No.
Not here, Mr. Dupina. Grandpa's busy.
Oh.
Excuse me.
Now, Mr. Vanderhoff, we've written you several letters about this, but we've had no reply.
Well, now that's what those letters were about.
I told you they're from the government.
It seems, Mr. Vanderhoff, that you have never filed an income tax return.
Oh, well, now that's correct.
Well, why not?
Well, I don't believe it.
You own property, don't you?
Oh, yes.
You receive yearly income from it.
Yes.
Between, let me see, $3,000 to $4,000.
Well, about that.
You've been receiving it for years.
Yes, 1901 if you want the exact date.
Well, the government is only concerned from 1949. That's when the income tax started.
Well,
Well, it seems, Mr. Vanderhoff, that you owe the government 24 years back income tax.
Wait a second. You can't go back that far. That's outlawed.
What's your name?
What difference does it make?
Ever filed an income tax return?
No, sir.
What was your income last year?
$23.52, right? That's it.
I don't know.
If you please. Now, Mr. Vanderhoff, there's quite a penalty for not paying an income tax.
well, now look, Mr. Henderson, let me ask you something.
Well,
Now suppose I pay this money. Mind you, I'm not saying I'm going to, but just for the sake of arguing, what's the government going to do with it?
how do you mean?
Well, what do I get for my money? If I go into Macy's and buy something, well, there it is. I can see it. What's the government going to give me?
Well, the government gives you everything. It protects you.
Well, from what?
Well, from invasions, murders, that might come and take everything you get.
Now, I don't think they're going to do that.
Well, if you didn't pay an income tax, they would. How do you think the government keeps up the Army and the Navy? All those battleships?
Oh, well, now, the last time we used battleships was in the Spanish-American War. And what did we get out of that? Cuba! And we gave that right back. I wouldn't mind paying if it was for something sensible.
Sensible? What about the Supreme Court and the Congress and the President? We've got to pay them, don't we?
Not with my money, no, sir.
Well, I'm not here to argue with you. All I know is you haven't paid an income tax and you've got to pay.
They've got to show me.
We don't have to show you. I just told
now the Constitution was paid for long ago, and interstate commerce, well, what is interstate commerce anyhow?
There are 48 states, see? And if it weren't for interstate commerce, nothing could go from one state to another, see?
Well, why not? They got fences.
No, they haven't got fences, they've got laws! Holy smokes, I've never come across anything like this before.
Listen to this, Essie.
And you know what? You'll go to jail if you don't pay. Did you hear that? That's the law. If you think you're bigger than the law, then you've got another thing coming. You're no better than anybody else. The sooner you get that through your head, the better. You'll be hearing from the United States government, that's all I can say.
Well, now watch out for those snakes.
Holy smokes!
How was that?
Oh, fine, Ed.
How did that guy you go?
Oh, well, now I liked it.
My, he was mad, wasn't he?
Oh, well, now it's not his fault. It's just the whole thing is so silly.
He forgot his hat.
Well, now what size is that hat?
Let's see, 7 and 8.
Ah, just right for me.
Who was that fellow anyway?
Oh, this must really be Mr. Kirby now.
You better make sure this time.
Yes, of course. I hope he's good looking. Good evening.
Good evening.
Is this Mr. Anthony Kirby Jr.?
Yes, I am.
Oh, do come right in. We've been expecting you. Do come right in. We're so excited to see you.
Nice to meet you.
No, I'm Alice's mother. It's so good to see you. And this is her father and her grandfather. And this is Essie, her sister, and her husband, Ed Carmichael.
How do you
Oh,
do?
it's so good to see you. Please come right in and make yourself right at home.
Mother, is that Mrs.
Thank
Kirby?
you.
Well, yes, dear. And he's lovely.
I'll be right back.
Do be seated, Mr. Kirby.
Thank you. I hope I'm not keeping you from dinner.
Oh, no. Now, have a tomato?
No, thank you.
Well, how about a piece of candy?
No, thank you. I'm fine.
I forgot to introduce Mr. DePenna. Mr. DePenna, Mr. Kirby Jr.
How do you do?
How did you? Wasn't Sarah reading about your father in the newspaper the other day? I think he got indicted or something.
Oh, no, nothing of the sort. He just testified before the Securities Commission.
Yes, I'm sure there was nothing crooked about it, Mr. DePenna. In fact, Alice has often told us what a lovely man your father is.
Well, she certainly knows more about the business than any of us, and Father wouldn't be able to run it without her.
Oh, you're awfully young, aren't you, Mr. Kirby, to be vice president of such a big place like that?
Well, Vice President, you know what that means. I just have a desk with my name on it.
Oh, is that all? Don't you get any salary?
Oh, well, a little. More than I'm worth, I'm afraid.
Oh, now you're just being modest.
Now, it seems kind of dull to me, Wall Street. Do you like it?
Well, the hours are short, and to be perfectly honest, I haven't been there very long.
Oh, well, just out of college, huh?
Yeah, just sort of knocked around for a while. Had fun.
Well, now, what did you do? Travel?
Yes, for a bit. Then I went to Cambridge for a year.
Oh, England.
Yes.
Now, say, what's an English commencement ceremony?
Oh, very impressive.
Well, they are, huh?
Yes. Well, now the fun's over, and I'm facing the world.
Well, you've certainly got a good start, Mr. Kirby. Vice president of a big company and a rich father.
Well, that's hardly my fault.
Well, now I'm sure that you're going to want to get settled down and, get married.
Now, Penny, I'm sure Mr. Kirby knows it's online.
I wasn't making it for him, Paul. Was I, Mr. Kirby?
No, it's quite all right, Mrs. Sycamore.
See,
You really shouldn't rush him, Mother.
I wasn't rushing him. All I'm saying is he's bound to get married, and suppose the wrong girl gets him.
Well, here I am, vision in blue. Apparently you've had time to get acquainted.
Oh, yes, we were just having delightful talk about love and marriage.
Oh dear. Sorry, I came down as fast as I could.
It's all right. I didn't mind the least.
Oh, Miss Alice, you look beautiful. Thank you.
Where are you
Reba.
going?
I'm going out.
Stepping, huh? Oh, that must be Matt Lee.
I think we better go, Tony.
All right.
Grandpa, do you take reward in cornflakes? I forget.
Oh, well, now, half and half, Donald.
Hello,
Oh,
Madam
Yeah, that's fully on top, all right.
Good evening. Grandpa, what do you think? I got a letter from Russia.
Second's 5-year plan is a failure.
Oh.
I practiced in Madam Kolyakoff.
Now, if you'll excuse us, Madam Kolyakoff.
Oh, Miss Ellis. I've never seen you look so magnificent.
Thank you. Tony, this is Madam Kolyakoff as his dance teacher.
How do you do?
Mr. Kirby. Now, if you'll excuse us, we're going to see the Monte Carlo Ballet tonight.
A Monte Carlo ballet. It stinks.
Yes, well, bye, everybody.
Yes,
Bye.
good evening. It was so nice to meet you all.
Hi. Good night. Isn't Mr. Kirby lovely? Monte Carlo
I thought he was a
ballet.
nice fellow.
Yes, and so good looking. Dinner's ready, everybody. Come to dinner.
You know, I think if they get married, I'll put the altar right where the snakes are. You wouldn't mind, would you, Grandpa?
Oh, well, now, not if the snakes
No,
stop.
They'll want to get married in a church. His family and all.
Now, quiet, everybody, quiet. Well, sir, we've been getting along pretty well now, and we're certainly much obliged. Remember, all we ask is to just go along and be happy in our own sort of way. Of course, we want to keep our health, too, but as far as anything else is concerned, we'll leave it to you. Thank you.
Of course, it's family. Man, moving up is a
failure.
Come back, Grandpa. Oh, it's Mr. Kirby. It's so exciting, isn't it?
We don't think, Mom. Like those further. We can have the seats all lined up just there. I can see them dance every night of the week. I think they're wonderful.
Oh yes, I thought so too. But just walking into any theater gives me a thrill.
Well, it's been so lovely, Tony. I hate to have it over.
Well, does it have to be over? Do I have to go?
Not if you don't want to.
Well, I don't.
Well, would you like a cold drink?
That'd be wonderful.
I'll see what's in the icebox. You want to come along?
Oh, Alice, I'd follow you to the ends of the earth.
The kitchen's enough.
Oh, I like it. You've done it very simply, haven't you?
Yes, we don't know whether it's food empire or neo-Grecian.
So you settled for a Frigidaire.
Yes, it's so easy to live with. Well, lucky you're not hungry, Mr. K. An icebox full of cornflakes. That should give you a rough idea of the sycamores.
Oh, all of my cups.
I'll take mine in a glass if you don't mind.
Of course. There you are, Miss Sycamore, a foaming beaker.
Thank you.
Now, Miss Sycamore, if you'd be seated, I'd like to make a toast.
Tony, I am seated.
Yes, of course. Miss Sycamore, to you.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Kirby. To you.
You know something.
What?
I wouldn't trade this moment for all the rice in China.
Really?
Cross my heart.
Is there much rice in China?
Fantastic. Haven't you read The Good Earth? Oh, it's getting very late. I guess I ought to go.
Is it?
Very.
Oh, I don't want you to go.
Well, then I won't. Say, when do you take your break?
Last 2 weeks in August.
I might take mine then, too.
Really?
Traveling, perhaps?
Oh, I might not. I like the city in the summertime.
I do, too.
But you always go up to Maine, don't you?
Oh, yes, that's right. I'm sure I would love the city in the summertime if Alice, you know what I mean. I'd love if you were here with me.
Well, it would be nice if you were here, Tony.
You know what you're saying, don't you?
What?
That you'd rather be with me than anyone else in the whole world.
Was I?
Well, if it's true about the summer, how would you feel about the winter?
Yes. I'd like that too.
Well, then there's spring and autumn. You can see your way clear about those, Miss Sycamore.
I might.
Well, that's the whole year. We haven't missed anything, have we?
No.
Well, then
Alice! Alice, is that you? What time is it? Oh. Well, hello, Mr. Kirby. I didn't realize that you were. I mean, I hope I'm not. I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
it's all right.
I just came down for a manuscript, and then you two can go right on ahead. Oh, here it is.
Good night, Mrs. Sycamore.
Oh, I think you can call me Penny. Don't you, Alice? At least I hope so.
Oh, what's that?
That's just Father, Tony.
At this time of night?
Yes, any time of night, any time of day.
You know something. You're more beautiful, more lovely, more adorable than anyone else
Don't,
in the...
Tony.
What? Oh, Alice, I didn't mind that. And everyone has a mother. And Penny's a dear. See, I'm even calling her
No,
Penny.
it's not that, Tony. Listen, this is something I should have told you a long time ago, but I didn't have the courage. I let myself get swept away because I loved you.
But,
No,
darling...
listen. Tony, you're of a whole different world and a whole different kind of people. And I don't mean money or socially. That's silly, but Tony, your family and mine, it just wouldn't work, Tony. It just wouldn't work.
All right, have it your way. She can't dance. They pay her all that money, and she can't dance.
Well, I don't call that dancing what she does. Oh, hello. How was the ballet?
It was fine,
wonderful.
Izzy.
Well, there.
How do you do?
Now look, what do you people think? Ed and I just saw Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. Do you think she can dance, Mr. Kirby?
Oh, why, yes, I've always thought so.
What does she do anyhow? Now look, you're Fred Astaire and I'm
Ezzy,
Ginger Rogers.
please.
Oh.
Now I just want to use it for a moment. Now look, Mr. Kirby.
I
Ezzy,
really...
you're just as good as Ginger Rogers. We all agree.
Yes.
See, Ed?
Yeah. We're butting in, Betsy. Let's go.
They've been together all evening. Good night, Mr. Kirby. Good night, Alice.
Good night, Ezzy.
Good night, Mrs. Carmichael.
Did you talk to Grandpa about us having a baby?
Oh, yes, he said to go right ahead.
See what I mean? That's what it would be like.
Well, I didn't mind that. And it's not like we're going to live with them. It's just going to be you and I.
Tony, it's never quite like that. I love them, Tony. I love them dearly, and some people could break away, but I couldn't. I know they do rather strange things, but they're happy and fun, and I don't know, there's a kind of nobility about them.
Alice, you talk about them as if only you could understand them. And that's not true. Everybody has a family with weird traits. Okay, my father. He raises orchids at $10,000 a bulb. Is that sensible? And my mother. She believes in spiritualism. That can't be any worse than your mother writing
No,
plays.
it goes deeper, Tony. Your mother believes in spiritualism because it's fashionable. And your father raises orchids because he can afford to. My mother writes plays because 8 years ago, a typewriter was delivered here by mistake. And look at Grandpa. 35 years ago, he just up and quit business one day. He started up to the office in an elevator, and he came right back down again. It just stopped. He could have been a rich man, but he said it took too much time. So for 35 years, he's just collected snakes and gone to circuses and commencements. It never occurs to any of them.
Oh, hello there, children.
Hello, Grandpa.
How's the weather? Looks like a nice summer evening.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Very nice.
Well, I'm off. Got an appointment with a policeman on the corner.
Policeman.
Oh, yes. We have a standing appointment. 12:30 every night. Known him since he was a little boy. You see, he's really a doctor, but after he graduated, he came to me and said that he didn't want to be a doctor. He had always wanted to be a policeman. So I said to him, well, you go ahead and be a policeman if that's what you want. And that's what he did. Say, how do you guys like my new hat?
Oh, it's very nice, Mr. Vanderhoff.
Yeah, I like it. The government gave it to me.
Government.
Oh, excuse me. I didn't know you folks was in here.
That's all right, Donald.
Reba kind of fancies some candy, and oh, there it is. You don't know what to do?
No, thank you, Donald.
Thanks. Did you have a nice evening?
Yes, Donald.
Nice dinner?
Yes, Donald.
Was the ballet nice?
Yes, Donald.
That's nice. Good night.
You see what I mean? Could you explain Donald to your father, Tony? Could you explain Grandpa? You couldn't, Tony. I love you, but I love them too, and it's no use, Tony. It's no use.
Darling, there's only one thing that you said that matters. That makes any sense at all. It's that you love me.
Oh, but Tony, I know so well that
But darling, everyone has a family.
But not like mine.
But that doesn't stop people who love each other. Darling, Why don't you just trust me and go on loving me and forget about everything else?
But how can I?
Because nothing can keep us apart. You know that. You must know it. And your family. They want you to be happy, don't they?
Well, of course
They
they
must.
do, but Tony, they can't change. And I wouldn't want them to change.
Well, they don't have to change, Alice. They're charming, lovable people just the way they are. Alice, you're worrying about something that may never even come up.
Am I, Tony?
All that matters right now is that we love each other. That's so, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, and Alice, will you marry me?
Yes! Yes, I will, Tony. But what do I say?
Well, first you can thank the young gentleman for getting engaged to you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Kirby, for getting engaged to me.
Then you can tell him just what it was about him that first took your girlish heart.
It was the back of your head.
Um,
It wasn't your charm, and it wasn't your money. It was the back of your head. I just kind of liked it.
well, what happened when I turned around?
Oh, I got used to it after a while.
We're pretty lucky, aren't we?
I know I am. I'm the luckiest girl in the world.
I'm not exactly unlucky myself. Oh my, it's getting very, very late. I ought to go. Good night, Alice.
Good night, Tony.
It's awful wonderful that we work in the same office, isn't it? Otherwise I'd be hanging around here all day.
Would it be strange tomorrow, just going on as though nothing had happened?
Well, thank goodness I'm vice president. I can dictate to you all day. Dear Miss Sycamore, I love you, I love you, I love you.
Tony, you're such a fool.
Meet me in the drugstore downstairs tomorrow morning.
Right.
And then for lunch and dinner tomorrow night.
But Tony, what would people say?
Well, it's got to come out sometime. In fact, if you know a good housetop, I'd like to do a little shopping.
Yes, sir, Mr. Lieutenant. You did a good night's work.
That's what 500 black panthers, 300 willow trees, and 18 dozen junior kitty bombers.
Pretty good. Hello, Alice. You just come in?
Oh, no, Father. I've been home quite a while.
Have a nice evening?
Yes, I had a beautiful evening, Father.
Oh, that's nice. Say, I'd like you to take a look at this new red fire.
Will you turn on the lights, Mr. Lieutenant?
All right.
I want Alice to get the full effect.
What, Father?
Take a look at this new red fire I just made.
Oh, it's beautiful,
Nice, huh?
Father. It's the most beautiful red fire in the world.
All right, so I said to him, you can take your own chance.
Miss Wellington, anytime you're ready to read a new play, I'm ready when you are.
Just a minute, dearie, just a minute.
I hope you don't mind me asking this, but you don't drink while you're acting, do you?
Oh no. When the minute a play opens, the bottle gets put away. The minute I enter the stage door, I never touch a drop until intermission.
Now tell me, Miss Wellington, have you been on the stage a long time?
All my life, I've played everything. Ever seen Peg on My Heart?
Oh, yes.
Oh, well, I saw it too. Good show. My, it's a hot night, ain't it?
Oh, you want me to open a window, Miss Wellington?
Nah. Say, he's cute.
Oh, she's only acting, Reba. That's all. She don't mean anything. Well, Miss Wellington, I thought we could read the play up in my room, so anytime you're ready, we'll go up there and start.
All right, dearie. I'm ready. Okay.
Oh, dear.
When I start saying snakes, that's when it starts being going out.
Real, Miss Wellington. Miss Wellington!
She's out like a light.
Oh,
You better let her sleep it off.
Reba, Miss Wellington just passed out.
Good.
You think she's going to be all right?
Oh, yes, but, well, I wouldn't cast her in the religious play.
I wish you'd stop printing and take those love dreams around. You've got to get back in time to play for me when Colleen Cup comes.
Oh, Colleen coming tonight?
Tomorrow's her night, but I had to change on account of Alice.
Oh, big doings around here tomorrow night, eh?
Yes, I'm so nervous you think it's me engaged instead of Alice.
I wonder what they'll be like, his mother and father. Ed? Ed, what are you doing now?
Penny,
Oh,
made last night?
Oh,
Guess who it is?
just a minute, Ed. Now, don't tell me. It's, Helen of Troy.
It's Mrs. Roosevelt.
You know, the nice thing about these mechanical sets is you can make so many different things with them. Last week, it was the Empire State Building.
Well, what is it this week?
A boat. Queen Mary.
Oh, well, it hasn't got the right hat on.
Look, Mr. Penner, would you see if there's a man standing up there?
Why? What for?
When I've been delivering caning the last few nights, there's been a man following me.
Ed, you're crazy.
No, I'm not, and he stands and watches the house.
Really? I'll take a look and see.
Well, I don't know why anyone would follow you for, Ed.
Well, there are a lot of kidnappings happening around here, Grandpa.
Oh, yes, but not of Ed.
Well, did you see anything?
There's nobody out there at all.
You're sure?
Positive. I just saw him walk away.
You see him?
Oh, it could have been anyone walking along the street. Ed, will you please hurry up and get back?
All right.
Thank you.
Won't you go down now, Mr. Sycamore, and finish packing up the flour?
Yeah. You've got to take the stuff up to Mount Vernon next week.
Oh, Mother, may I borrow some paper? I'm making a list for Reba for tomorrow night. Yes, dear. Just... What happened to your actress friend? Did she give you a performance?
No, Alice. She's really drunk.
Essie, you're going to give Reba the kitchen all day tomorrow, aren't you? Because she'll need it.
Oh, of course, Alice. I'll start on my love dreams right now, so I'll be way ahead.
Thanks, dear. And now, Mother, I'm coming home at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Will you have everything down in the cellar by that time? The typewriter, and the printing press, and the xylophone, and the snakes.
And Miss Wellington.
And Miss Wellington.
Yes, of course, dear.
And I think we'd better have cocktails ready by 7:15, in case I happen to be early. And, Grandpa, do you think I ought to let Reba cook the dinner?
Well, now, Alice, I wouldn't worry about it. From what I've seen of the boy, I'm sure the Kirby's are very nice people. And if everything isn't so elaborate tomorrow night, well, that's all right, too.
Oh, darling, I'm not trying to impress them or pretend we're anything we aren't. I just want everything to go off well, you know?
Well, there's no reason why it shouldn't, Alice.
We're all doing everything we can to make it a nice party. Oh, my darlings, I love you. You're the most wonderful family in the world. And I'm the happiest girl in the world. Oh, I didn't know anyone could be so happy. Why, this past week has been like floating. Why, just seeing him, you don't know what it does to me.
Just seeing him. Just seeing him for lunch and for dinner and until 4 o'clock in the morning. And then at 9 o'clock in the morning, you're back at the office again and there he is. Just seeing him, huh?
Oh, I don't care. I'm in love. Reba.
Nice, isn't it? Nice to see her so happy.
Yes. Oh, I remember when I was engaged to Paul. How happy I was. And you know, I still feel that way.
Well, I know. You know, nice the way Ed and Essie get along, too.
And Donald and Reba, even though they're not married. Yet. Do you think Mr. DePena will ever find anyone, Grandpa?
Oh, well, there's Miss Wellington.
Oh, I do wish she would wake up. If we're going to read the play, we have to do it tonight.
Oh. Mrs. Sycamore, look what I found.
What's that? Why, yes. It's my painting of you as the discus thrower. Look, Grandpa, remember?
Oh, I remember. Well, say, you've gotten a little bald, haven't you, Mr. DePena?
It's very noticeable. Well, there's still some right here.
Well, it was a long time ago, Mr. DePena. Just before I stopped painting. And let's see, that was 8 years ago.
Too bad you never finished it, Mrs. Sycamore.
I always meant to, Mr. DePena, but one day I started writing a play, and that was that. I never painted again.
Well, just as well, too. I was going to have to strip next.
Who would have thought, all those years ago, that I came to live in the ice, that I'd be staying here for 8 years?
Well, now the milkman was here for 5. Just ahead of you.
Say, why did you leave anyhow? I'm hooked.
he died.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Such a lovely ceremony. Do you remember it, Grandpa?
Yes.
It was kind of hard to get a certificate, though, because we never knew his name.
Oh, that's right. What was the name we finally made up for him?
Martin Vanderhoff. We gave him your name.
That's right, I remember.
It was really a lovely thought, too, or else he would have never gotten all those flowers.
Oh, well, certainly was. And it didn't hurt me at all. Not bothered with mail anymore. And I haven't had a telephone call from that day to this.
It really was a wonderful idea.
You know, Mrs. Seymour, I wish you'd finish that sometime. I'd kind of like to have it.
You know, Mr. DePenna, I think I'll do some work on it right tonight.
Say, will you?
I don't think she's going to wake up anyhow. You run down to the cellar and get your costume and the easel. It's still down there, isn't it?
I think so.
Good. Now, where did I put my palette and brushes? Hello, Madam Kolienko.
Panu Seymour.
Grinch. Essie's in the kitchen.
Tell me, what should I do about Grabiszka? I keep telling her she would make a great toadasser. That's only. You know I couldn't do it, Madam Kolienko. I can't get up on my toes. I got corns. Grabiszka, the red diamonds, yes? No. No. Great girl, Grandpa. What is that?
Oh, well, that's a picture of Mr. DePenna. Penny painted it.
It stinks.
I know. What do you think of that?
What is this?
Oh, she's an actress. Friend of Penny's.
She's drunk, no?
She's drunk. Yes. But how are you, Kolienko?
Magnificent. Leaf is chasing around beside me like a squirrel.
Ah, it is, huh? Well, what's new in Russia? Heard any more from your friend in Moscow?
I just heard from him. I sent for you the stamp. Yes.
Oh, well, thanks, Kolienko.
They've sent him to Siberia.
Oh, they have, huh? How's he like it?
He has escaped. He has escaped and gone back to Moscow. He will get them yet if they do not get him. Soviet government. I tell you, I can just take the whole Soviet government and rip it apart.
I'm sorry I'm late, Madam Kolienko. I'll get my dancing stuff right away.
Tonight you will learn something new, Pavlova. Tonight you will really work.
Yeah.
Is he making any progress, Kolienko?
Confidentially, she stinks.
Well, as long as she's having fun.
You sure do tickle Ruby, Madam Kolienko. She just laughed her head off out there.
She's a great woman. Don't. What do you think of the Soviet government?
The what, Madam Kolienko?
I will throw the question. What do you think of this government?
Oh, I like it fine. I'm on relief, you know.
Oh, yes, and you like it? Yes, and it's fine. The only thing is you gotta go around to the place every week to get it. And sometimes you gotta stand in line pretty near half an hour. The government ought to be run better than that, don't you think, Grandpa?
Well, now the government ought to stop sending me letters. Want me to be at the United States Marshal's office Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock. Look at that.
Income tax. They want you, Grandpa.
Oh, yes, they want me to give them a whole bunch of money so as to keep Donald there on relief.
You don't say, Grandpa? You're gonna pay from now on?
Well, that's what they want.
Oh, you mean I can come right here to get it instead of waiting in that line?
No, Donald, I'm afraid you'll have to waste a full half hour of your time every week.
Well, I don't like it. It breaks up my week. You should have been in Russia when the revolution came. Then you would have stood in the line. Red line. Ah, Grandpa. What did they do done to Russia? Think of it. The Grand Duchess, Olga Katrina, cousin of the Tsar. She's a waitress in John's restaurant, Times Square. I ordered baked beans from her only yesterday. It broke my heart. It's a crazy world, Grandpa. Crazy.
Well, now the world's not so crazy, Kolienko. It's the people in it. Life is pretty simple if you just relax.
How you relax in times like these, huh?
Well, if they'd relax, there wouldn't be times like these. Now that's just my point, you see. Life is pretty beautiful if you just let it come to you. Well, the trouble is, people forget that. I know I did. I was right in the middle of it. Scratching, clawing, fighting, regular junk. And then one day it hit me. I wasn't having any fun.
So you did what?
I just relaxed. 35 years ago, that is. And I've been a happy man ever since.
Oh, good evening, Madam Kalinka.
Ah, Miss Alice. I've not seen you to present my congratulations.
Thank you.
May be very happy and have many, many children. This is my prayer for you.
That's quite a thought.
Oh, well. What is all this left alone, Grandpa?
Yes, but there's plenty of that.
And soon, Stone will take out the way too. I tell you, Grandpa, the Stone could just I thought of him.
Oh, well. Maybe he should relax too.
Stone will not rush anything. Everything will just be better.
Oh, well, I would agree with you, Colleen.
Oh, feels so good to be in my art things again. Do they still look all right, don't they?
Yes, indeed.
You are great at the Paris, Madam Sigmore.
Thank you, Madam Collier. Oh, I didn't know he was working for the WPA. Oh, no, Donald. You see, I used to write plays, or I used to paint all the time, but then I started writing plays. And
That pain is following me every place I went.
nonsense, Ed. It's your imagination.
No, it isn't. And he stands and watches the house. It happens every time I go and deliver candy.
Well, now maybe he wants a piece of candy.
It's all right for you to laugh, Grandpa, but you're not the one being followed.
You do not know what following is. In Russia, everybody is followed. I was followed right out of Russia.
You see, Ed, it's just your imagination.
Well, maybe.
Oh, here we are. What do you want, Mrs. Sigmund? Oh, no, right here's fine, Mrs. Sigmund.
Yes, for tonight's lesson, we will first go into Shehrazad.
All right.
I'm sorry, I'm late, Madam Collier. I couldn't find my slippers.
If a hot night work might have hold it. Art is only cheap perspiration.
Did you hear that, Grandpa? Art is only achieved through perspiration.
Well, yes, but it helps if you have a little talent, too.
Mr. DePenna, has something happened to your figure in these past 8 years?
I don't think it's any different.
Oh, yes, Miss Wellington? Yes?
You ready? We begin. Now, through it. Come, you can do that. It's yours now. That's right now. In great truck. Let's go, Grandpa. You don't have a lot to tell them about. It's all relaxing. Well, that's brilliant.
Well, now he was too late.
Madam Kalinka! Madam Kalinka!
We're going to selling baked beans today.
Madam Kalinka!
I'm sorry, Pablo. We can have it some real life. Stop, Pablo. Stop.
Can you pull in your stomach a little bit, Mr. DePenna? Yes, that's right.
Bring it with the hands. The whole body must work. Ed, help us with the music must be very good. Come on. Up, Pablo. Up.
Good evening.
Well, now, how do you do?
I hope we aren't too early.
Not at all. Only it was far right tomorrow. Really, Tony, this is most embarrassing.
I'm sorry, I thought it was tonight.
No, it's not as all serious as all that. Why, we were doing a thing.
Oh, no, just a quiet evening at home.
That's all. Now, don't let it trouble you. Now, I'm Alice's grandfather, This is her mother, Mrs. Sycamore.
How do you do? How do you
Her sister, Mrs. Carmichael. Mr. Carmichael. Madam Kolienkov. And Mr. DePena.
That's fine, my costume. I'll take this rifle.
Now, Mr. DePena, would you go downstairs and tell Mr. Sycamore to come right up?
Oh,
Tell him that Mr. and Mrs. Kirby are here.
and remind him to put his shirt on.
All right, excuse me.
Well, I'll tell Alice that you're. Alice! Alice, dear? Well, would you come down for a minute, dear? We have a surprise for you.
Yes, I'll be right there.
May I take your wrap, Mrs. Kirby?
Oh, thank you, if you're perfectly sure that we're not intruding.
Oh, well, of course. Now don't let them trouble you, Mrs. Kirby. Why, they're perfectly harmless.
Yes, I'm sorry. We're just so used to them being around the house. I'm terribly sorry to bother you, but things
I
happen
feel
to
very
me.
uncomfortable about
Come into
this.
the kitchen.
Tony, how could you possibly have done such a thing?
I'm sorry, I honestly thought it was tonight.
It was very careless of you. Very.
Oh, now, Mr. Kirby, anybody can get mixed up.
Now, Penny, how about some dinner for these folks? They've come for dinner, you know.
Of course,
Oh, please don't bother. We're really not hungry at all.
Oh, but it's not a bit of a bother. Ed?
Yes.
Ed? Oh, tell Tom to run down to the A&P store and get 2 dozen bottles of beer and some canned salmon. Mr. Kirby, do you like canned salmon?
Please don't bother, Mrs. Sycamore. I have a little indigestion anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry. How about you, Mrs. Kirby? Do you like canned salmon?
Oh, I'm very fond of it.
Ooh, well, we could have frankfurters if you'd rather.
Either one will do.
Well, we make it frankfurters and some canned corn and Campbell soup. You got that, Ed?
Yeah.
Oh, and tell him to hurry.
Okay.
The A&P store is just around the corner, and frankfurters don't take any time to boil.
And this is Alice's father, Mr. Sycamore, Mr. and Mrs. Kirby.
How do you do? I hope you forgive my appearance.
But yes, this is Mr. Sycamore's busiest time of year, the week before 4th of July. He's always so... Oh!
Darling, I'm the most dull-witted person in the world. I thought it was tonight.
But Tony, I'm sorry, I can't imagine why I wasn't.
All my fault.
Have you all met each other?
Yes, indeed.
How do you do, Alice?
How do you do, Mrs. Kirby? Afraid I'm not very presentable.
Darling, you look lovely.
Of course you do. Don't let this bother you, my dear. We've all just come a night early, that's all.
Yes, of course. But I was planning such a nice party for tomorrow night.
Well, then we'll come again tomorrow night.
Well, there you are, Alice. Am I forgiven?
I guess so. Oh, but you must be starving. We should see about giving you some dinner.
Oh, I've got that all handled. Alice, it's all been attended to.
Wait, but Mother, what did you say that for? Mr. Kirby has indigestion.
It's
He
all
only eats
right.
certain things.
It's all right.
I asked him what he wanted to
Well,
do.
yes.
No, it's not all big a deal as that, just because of a little indigestion.
Of course it's not, darling.
Perhaps, Mr. Kirby, you do not have indigestion at all. Perhaps you have stomach ulcer.
Oh, please, not going.
Now, Mr. Kirby, you mustn't mind Madam Kolienkov. Well, she's a Russian, and Russians are inclined to look on the dark side of things.
All right, I'm a Russian, but a friend of mine, a Russian, died from stomach ulcer.
Please, Madam Claycock. Mr. Kirby has indigestion. That's all.
All right, let's wait.
Do sit down, Mr. Kirby. Make yourself comfortable. Well, now tell me, Mr. Kirby, how do you find business conditions? Are we pretty well out of the Depression?
Well, yes, I'd say so. Of course, it all depends.
Well, but you figure things are going to keep on improving, eh?
Well, broadly speaking, yes. As a matter of fact, industry is operating at 82% of full capacity, as opposed to 64% in 1925. Of course, in 1929, when the stock market...
That makes it a little strange to you folks, but she's not quite accountable for her actions. Miss Sycamore, she came to dinner and was overcome by the heat.
Yes, you know. Some people
lot.
Oh, yes.
But you usually escape all this hot weather, don't you, Mrs. Kirby? Up in Maine?
As a rule, I had to come down this week for the flower show, however.
Oh, that blue ribbon is the high spot of her year. She wouldn't miss that for the world.
Oh, I won a blue ribbon at a flower show once. For raising onions. Remember that, Alice?
That was a garden show, Essie.
Oh, yes.
Well, I think she'll be all right now. Has Don come back yet?
No, he hasn't.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I'm afraid you must be starved.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. Hello. What's this? I didn't know there were little children in the house.
Oh no, that's mine.
I see. I suppose every man must have his hobby. Or do you use this as a model of some sort?
Oh no, I just play with it.
Robert, you'd be better off having a hobby like that instead of racing orchids.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Do tell us all about your orchids, Mr. Kirby. I'm sure we'd all love to hear about it. Did you know they take 6 years to bloom? Think of that.
Well, some of them take longer than that. I have one coming along now I've been waiting 10 years for. Of course, during that time, they require the most scrupulous care. I remember...
Oh, here we are.
Donald, did you get everything?
Oh, yes, only they didn't have frankfurters, so we got pickled pig's feet.
Oh, never mind. Tell us all about your orchids, Mr. Kirby. I'll just give you.
Well, now, kind of an expensive hobby, isn't it, Mr. Kirby? Raising orchids.
Yes, it is, but I feel that if a hobby gives one sufficient pleasure, it is never expensive.
Well, now, that is very true.
You see, I need something to relieve the daily nerve strain. After a week at Wall Street, I'd go crazy if I didn't have something like that. A lot of men I know have yachts, just for that very reason.
Oh, why don't they just give up Wall Street?
Grandpa.
How's that?
Well, I was only kidding, of course.
I think it's necessary for everyone to have a hobby.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, it's more than a hobby to me, but my great solace is spiritualism.
Spiritualism now, Mrs. Kirby. Everybody knows that's a fake.
To me, Mrs. Sycamore, spiritualism is, well, I'd rather not discuss it, Mrs. Sycamore.
Remember, Minnie, you have 1 or 2 hobbies of your own.
Yes, Paul, but not silly ones.
No, I don't really think it matters what the hobby is. The important thing is to have one.
To be ideal, a hobby should improve the body as well as the mind. The Romans were great people. Why? What is their hobby? Wrestling. Wrestling, you have to be quick with the mind and not quick with the body.
Yes, I'm afraid wrestling isn't very practical for most of us. I wouldn't make a very good show as a wrestler.
You could be a great wrestler. You are nuts for it.
Are you all right?
You're very hurt.
Oh, here now, Mr.
My
Kirby.
glasses, where are my glasses?
They're broken.
Oh, what happened? I'm very sorry, Mr. Kirby, but when you wrestle again, you'll of course not wear glasses. It is not good.
I do not intend to wrestle again, Madam Klagankov.
Perhaps we should sit down, Father.
Why did you do such a thing? Why didn't anybody stop her? It's fine.
I think, if you don't mind, Alice, perhaps we'd better be
No,
leaving.
please, Mrs.
Mother,
Kirby.
no.
I have scrambled eggs and plain salad coming. Please don't go.
I realize I've done something wrong, and I apologize.
Yes? I can't tell you how sorry I am, Mr. Kirby. If I'd been here, I'm sure that nothing would have...
Quite all right.
Yes.
Yes, of course it is, darling. We're not leaving.
Well, that was exciting for a minute, wasn't it?
Well, now, you were talking about your orchids, Mr. Kirby. Now tell me, do you raise many different varieties?
I'm afraid I've quite forgotten about my orchids.
I'm sure dinner won't be any time at all now. What did I do that was so terrible? I threw him on the floor. Did it kill him?
Please,
How about a piece of candy while you wait, Mr. Kirby? I have some freshly made.
My doctor does not permit me to eat candy.
Yes, please, Essie, don't.
Pickled pig's
Miss Alice?
Oh, what is it, Reba?
Donald dropped the eggs down the sink.
Oh, we'll make some more, quick.
Well, I ain't got any.
Well, send Donald back for some. Tell him to hurry. There'll be a little bit of a delay, but everything will be ready in just a moment.
I've certainly put people through a lot of trouble with my stupidity.
Yes,
well,
you have.
not at all.
Look, well, why don't we all play a game of some sorts while we live?
No,
Others will probably be lost.
No, Napoleon, Tom.
But I'm sure Mr. and Mrs. Kirby will love this game.
Mother.
It's perfectly harmless.
I'm afraid I'm not very good at games, Mrs. Sycamore.
Oh, but any fool can play this game, Mr. Kirby. All you do is write your name on a piece of paper.
But Mr. Kirby doesn't want to play a game.
Oh, I'm sure he'll love this one.
What is this game, Mother?
It's a game I used to play in school. It's called Forget-Me-Not. Here you are, Mr. Kirby. Just write your name on this piece of paper. Oh, and Mrs. Kirby, you do the same to this one. Now, the way this game works is I will call out 4 words, just anything at all, and as I call out each word, you put down the very first thing that comes to your mind. You go, Grandpa.
Well, for instance, if I call out
Green, you may put down grass. Or if I say table, you may put down chair. Oh, it shows people's reactions to different things. You see how simple it is, Mr. Kirby?
Oh, come on, Father. Be a sport.
Very well, I should be happy to play.
I told you you'd like it, Alice.
well,
Mrs. Sycamore.
Now, are we all ready?
ready.
Now, remember, you have to play fair. You put down the very first thing that comes to your mind. You got it?
I understand.
Now, the first word is potatoes. Potatoes. Got that? Next word is bathroom.
Mother.
Bathroom. Ready for the next one? Ready?
Go ahead.
Honeymoon.
This is quite a game, isn't it?
The last word is romance. Really? That's fine. Romance. Are we all ready? Good. Now give me all your papers.
Well, now what happens now?
Oh, this is the best part. Now I read out your reactions. I'll take your paper, Mr. Kirby.
It's really quite an interesting game.
Yes, I agree.
Yes. Oh, I knew you would like it, Mr. Kirby. So I'll read your paper first. This is Mr. Kirby's paper. Listen. Potatoes, steak. Oh, I see how that's glued together. Steak and potatoes.
I just happened to think of it.
Oh, that was very good. Bathroom, toothpaste. Oh, that makes sense because you brush your teeth. Yes. Honeymoon, trip. Oh. Romance, dinner. Oh, isn't that nice? That's a really good paper you have there, Mr. Kirby.
Thank you. It's more than just a game, you know. It's a sort of an experiment in psychology, isn't it?
It's true. It shows just how the mind works. Now we'll see how Mrs. Kirby's mind works. Now this is Mrs. Kirby's paper, everybody. Listen. Potatoes, starch. I know just what you mean, Mrs. Kirby. Oh, dear. Bathroom, Mr. Kirby. Oh.
How's that?
Bathroom, Mr. Kirby.
I don't quite follow that, my dear.
I just thought of you in connection with it.
You are in there a good deal, Anthony. Bathing and shaving, well, you do take a while.
Indeed, I didn't realize I was being so selfish.
You know, this is such a silly game. I think we ought to stop.
Yes.
Please go on, Mrs.
But really, it's such a pointless game. Suppose we play 20 questions instead.
No.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
No, I find this game rather interesting. Go on, Mrs. Sycamore. What was the next word?
Honeymoon.
Yes, and what was Mrs. Kirby's answer?
Well, honeymoon. Dull.
You say dull.
What I meant, Anthony, was that Hot Springs wasn't very bright that season. All those old people sitting around the porch all afternoon and, well, nothing to do at night.
That was not your action at the time, as I recall it.
Father, this is just a game.
Very illuminating game. Go on, Mrs. Sycamore.
Oh, I think this one's all right, Mr. Kirby. Romance. Wall Street.
Wall Street. What do you mean by that, Miriam?
I don't know what I meant by that, Anthony. Nothing.
She must have meant something, or you wouldn't have put it down.
It was just the first thing that came into my head, that's all.
But what does it mean? Romance, Wall Street.
It's just that you're always talking about Wall Street, even when... Alice, I think we'd better not stay for dinner. I'm afraid this game has given me a headache. I understand, Mrs. Kirby.
Perhaps we'd better not stay for dinner.
Well, you're coming tomorrow night, aren't you?
I'm afraid we have an engagement tomorrow night.
Perhaps we'd better postpone the whole affair a little while. The hot weather and...
Father, I think we're being very ungracious. Of course we'll stay to dinner tonight.
I have a very bad headache, Tony.
Come, Tony. I'm sure everyone understands.
Well, I don't. I think we
No,
ought to
Tony.
stay. What?
We were fools, Tony, to ever think it would work. It won't. I won't be at the office tomorrow, Mr. Kirby. I won't be there at all anymore.
Alice, what are you saying?
Sorry, my dear. Very sorry. Are you ready, Miriam?
Yes, Anthony.
Darling, you mustn't mind this.
Oh, it was very nice to meet all of you.
Yes, lovely.
Are you coming, Tony?
No. Father, I'm not.
Very well. Your mother and I will be waiting for you at home. Good night.
Good night.
Stay right where you are, everybody. Don't move.
Now, what is all this?
I demand an explanation.
Shut up, you. Which one is it? This is Dan.
What is this?
What's your name?
Edward Carmichael. I haven't done anything.
You haven't, huh?
No.
Well, now this all seems rather
this all about?
high-handed to me. Now, what's it all about?
Department of Justice.
Oh, good heavens! Ed, what have you done?
I haven't done anything.
Well, now, what's the boy done, officer?
That door lead to the cellar?
No.
Yes, it does. Matt! Jim?
Yes, sir?
Take a look upstairs and see what you find.
Okay.
But I haven't done anything.
Come here, you. Ever seen these before?
Oh, they're my circulars.
You print this stuff.
Yes, sir.
And you put them into boxes of candy to get them into people's homes.
The love dreams.
Well, yes, but I don't mean anything. I just...
You don't? Dynamite the Capitol, dynamite the White House, dynamite the Supreme Court. God is the state is God.
Oh, good heaven!
Well, yes, but I don't mean that. I just like to print. Don't I, Grandma?
Yes.
Really?
Now,
And-
officer, the government's in no danger from Ed.
Of course not.
I've never heard of such nonsense.
Now, printing is just his hobby, that's all. Why, he prints anything.
Anything.
It's true, anything at all.
I refuse to stay here.
Let me get my pipe, will you? Let me get my pipe.
Shut up, you. We were right, Chief. They've got enough gunpowder down there to blow up the whole city.
Oh, wait till you judge me fireworks.
That is...
Stay still, you. All of you are under arrest.
This is all nonsense. Well, now this is my mother.
Your mother. defendants, 13 in all, were brought before Judge Callahan and given suspended sentences for manufacturing fireworks without a permit. Yeah, I was kept in the same cell with some dancer and Mrs. Kirby. I was in the same cell with Mr. Kirby. Mine was he mad. Yeah, well, that dancer and Mrs. Kirby fought all night. I mean, it just never ended. It went on and on and on and on. A whole lot about Mr. Kirby here. Anthony W. Kirby, head of Kirby and Company, 62 Wall Street, who was among those apprehended, declared he was in no way interested in the manufacture of fireworks, but refused to state why he was on the premises at the time of the raid. Mr. Kirby is a member of the Union Club, the Racket Club, the Harvard Club, and the National Geographic Society. My, he certainly is a joiner. All the rich men at Elks is something. I suppose after all this, Mr. Tony ain't ever going to marry Miss Alice now, huh? No, and it's too bad, too. Miss Alice loves that boy. Where's she going? I don't know, mountain someplace. And she's going, no matter what they say. I know Miss Alice when she gets that look in her eye. Ever notice how rich folks always get themselves into trouble? Yes, I'm glad I'm poor. Me too. Don't know what I'm going to do with all that food out in the kitchen. Ain't going to be no party tonight, that's for sure. Well, ain't we going to eat it anyhow? I'm cooking it, but I don't think anybody going to have an appetite. I'm hungry. They ain't. They also broke up about Miss Alice. Bad, ain't it? Yeah.
Not even a balloon left. Ugh.
Well, how's your hand, Mr. DePena? Better?
Yes, it's better. It's a small bowl out there.
A salad bowl.
Thanks.
Well, she's going. Nothing anybody could say could change her.
But she ain't gonna stay away long, is she, Mrs. Sycamore?
Well, I don't know, Reba. She won't say.
We mighty lonesome around you without it. Well, how do you feel, Miss Sycamore?
Oh, I'm fine, Donald. Just a little upset. Maybe if I do some work, you'll get my mind off of it.
Oh, well, I won't bother you then, Miss Sycamore.
She's going, Penny.
Yes.
No, Penny, don't cry.
I can't help it, Paul. Somehow I feel like it's our fault.
It's mine more than yours, Penny. All these years I've just been going along, enjoying myself. But maybe I should have been thinking more about Alice.
Oh, Paul, don't say that. You've been a wonderful father and a husband, too.
No, I haven't. Maybe if I'd gone and been an architect or, I don't know, something Alice could have been proud of. I felt that last night looking at Mr. Kirby.
We've been so happy, Paul.
I know, but maybe it's not enough. I used to think it was, but I'm kind of blowing stuff now.
Well, what time is she going?
Pretty soon. Apparently it's 7:30.
If only she would see Tony. I know he could convince her.
But she won't, Penny. He's been trying all day.
Well, where is he now?
I don't know. I suppose walking around the block again. Anyhow, she won't talk to him.
Well, maybe he can catch her as she's leaving.
It won't help, Penny.
No. I suppose it won't. I feel so sorry for Tony, too. Well, Grandpa?
Oh, now, Penny, let the
But
girl...
Grandpa!
Well, now suppose she goes to the Adirondacks. Well, she'll be back. You can take only so much Adirondacks, and then you'll come home.
It's all so terrible, Grandpa.
Yes, in a way, but, well, it has its bright sides, too.
How do you mean?
Well, Mr. Kirby getting into that patrol wagon last night, for one thing. The expression on his face? Well, I won't forget that if I live to be 100, and I warn you people I intend to.
Oh, it was even worse with Mrs. Kirby. There was this dancer in our cell, and she was singing and dancing to Miss Kirby all night long.
I'll bet you Bar Harbor is going to seem pretty dull to the Kirbys after last night. Oh, need any help, Alice?
No thanks, Grandpa. I just have to press some. Alice.
I'll bring your bags down as soon as you're ready, Alice.
Would you like some candy to take along for the train, Alice?
No thanks, Essie.
Really, Alice? You can be just as alone here as you can up in the mountains. You can stay in your room the whole
No,
time.
Mother,
No,
no.
really.
I have to go away for a while. Away from everybody. I'll be all right. Father, did you phone for the cab?
No, I didn't know you wanted one.
Oh, I told Mr. DePena to tell you, Paul.
He told me, but I forgot.
You know, I wish I lived in a family that didn't always forget everything, that behaved the way other people's families do. Oh, I'm sick of cornflakes and Donald and everything. Why can't we be like other people? Roast beef and 2 green vegetables and doilies on the table. Oh, a place where you can bring your friends without... Oh, Essie.
I'll see what I can do. Alice. Tony! Alice is in the kitchen. Quick, hurry, go talk to her.
Thank you. Alice? Alice, can't we just talk?
No, Tony, it's no use.
Alice, you're not being fair. Will you just listen to me?
Where'd they go? Upstairs. She walked out the minute he came in. No, oh, but back up my hands. I'm going to snow country fishing now.
Well, now, how are you feeling today, Mr. DePena? Your hand's still hurting you?
No, it's better.
Everything burned downstairs, huh?
Everything. And my women costume, too.
Now, I told you there was a bright side to everything. Well, except my 23 years back income tax. I tell you, I get another letter every day.
Say, what you going to do about that, Grandpa?
Oh, well, now, I had kind of an idea the other day. I don't know if it'll work, but I'm trying it anyhow.
What is it?
Good evening.
Well, hello, Colleen.
Forgive me, the door was open.
Oh, now just come on in.
You'll excuse my coming today. I realize you are upset.
That's all right, Ma'am William. Yes, but I don't think I can take a lesson today. I don't feel up to it. But do stay for dinner, Ma'am William. We've got all that food back there, and somebody's got to eat it.
I'd be happy to, Mama. Thank you. Now, I wonder if I know you well enough to ask you a great favor.
Of course.
You've heard me talk about my friend, the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina.
Yes, Ma'am William. If there's anything we can do.
Well, I tell you, the Grand Duchess has not had good meals since before the revolution.
Now, she must be hungry.
And today is not only her day off, Thursday. It is also the anniversary of Peter the Great, a remarkable man. If you would consider...
Kolyankov, if you mean you'd like us to have the Grand Duchess over for dinner, why, we would be honored. Oh, yes. In the name of the Grand Duchess. Hey, well, I'm so excited to meet her. Where is she now?
She's outside the street, waiting. A great parade.
Essie, fix your dress. And your tie. Do I look at it?
I tell you, if stuff like this keeps happening, I want to live to be 150.
Permit to present Her Highness Olga Katrina. Your Highness, permit me to present Madam Sycamore, Madam Carmichael, Grandpa, Mr. Sycamore, Mr. Carmichael, and Mr. Divina. Oh.
Now, all right now, Mr. DePena, that's enough.
So, please be seated, Your Highness.
Thank you. You are most kind.
We are honored to receive you.
I'm most happy to be here. How soon is dinner?
Oh, well, quite soon, Your Highness, quite soon.
I do not mean to be rude, but I must be back at the restaurant by 8. I am substituting for another waitress.
I will make sure you're on time, Your Highness.
Thank you, Kolinka.
You know, Highness, I think you waited on me and Charles once, the 72nd Street place, wasn't it?
No, that's my sister.
The Grand Duchess Natasha.
I work in Times Square.
Oh, well, now quite a lot of your folks over here now, aren't there?
Oh yes, many. There is my uncle, the Grand Duke Sergei, a very nice man. He works at Macy's. He's in the elevator. And then there is my cousin, Prince Alexis. He will not speak to the rest of us because he works at Hattie and Carnegie. He's in ladies' underwear.
When he was selling hot dogs in Coney Island, he was going to talk to you.
Oh, Kolienko, our time is coming. My sister Natasha is studying to become a manicurist, and next month they've promised to make Uncle Sergei flow vodka, and then I get moved to Fifth Avenue's child. From there, it's a step to Scraps.
Oh. Well, I think you got that, Prince Alexis.
You are telling me?
Your Highness, did you know the Tsar? Personally, I mean.
Of course. He was my cousin. It is a shame what happened, though. But perhaps it was for the best. Where could he get a job now?
Pravda, pravda. This is true.
And poor relations are poor relations. It is the same in every family. My cousin, the King of Sweden, he was very nice to us for about 10 years. And then one day he said, I cannot go on. I'm not doing so well myself. I did not blame him.
No, of course not. Would you excuse me?
Your Highness, is it true what they say about Rasputin?
Everybody wants to know about Rasputin. Yes, my dear sir, it is true. And how?
You don't say so.
Your Highness, we have to watch the time. It's 6 getting late.
Oh yes, I must not be late. My boss, he does not like me. He's a communist.
Oh, well, we'll see if we can hurry things up. Essie, why don't you go see if you can help Reba in the kitchen?
I'll help too. Where's your kitchen?
Oh, right this way. But you're the guest of honor, Your Highness.
I do not mind. I'm a very good cook.
Oh,
come, Kolienko. If they have some pot cheese and beans, I shall make you some beans.
Ah, blitz! Go, Babble. We'll show you something.
I must say, the Duchess isn't so bad, is she? Hey, Duchess, can I help?
Gee, she's got a wonderful face for mass, hasn't she?
such a lovely woman, being a Grand Duchess and all.
Wonderful what some people go through, isn't it? And still keep kind of upbeat, too.
She made me forget about everything for a minute.
I'd better call that cab, I suppose.
Oh, no, wait, Paul. Here they come. Maybe Tony has...
Ed, will you go up and bring my bag down, please?
Yes. Don't you do it, Ed.
Oh, Ed, please.
Fine. You know, you're the most stubborn daughter in all 48 states.
That must be the cab.
Well, if it is, it's certainly excellent service.
Is Tony here, Alice?
Yes, come on in.
Now, how do you do?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Forgive my intrusion, but Tony, I want you to come home with me at once. Your mother is very upset.
Very well, Father. Goodbye, Alice.
Goodbye, Tony.
I need hardly say that this is just as difficult for Mrs. Kirby and myself as it is for you people. I'm sorry, but I'm sure you understand.
Well, yes. And in a way, no. Now, I'm not the kind of person tries to run other people's lives, Mr. Kirby. But it seems to me that these two young people haven't got as much sense as, let's say, you and I.
Grandpa, will you please not do this?
Now, I'm just talking to Mr. Kirby. A cat can look at a king, can't he?
Oh, Alice, do you want me to do that for you?
No, thank you, Mother. You've got quite a while before the train goes, Alice.
Yes, will you send a cab to 761 Claremont? Right away, please. Thank you.
Alice. Father.
Are you ready, Tony?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Kirby, I suppose after last night, you must think this family is kind of crazy.
No, I would not say that, although I'm not accustomed to going out for dinner and spending the night in jail.
Well, now, you've got to remember, Mr. Kirby, you came on the wrong night. Tonight, I'll bet you, nothing will happen. Maybe.
Mr. Vanderhoff, it was not merely last night that convinced Mrs. Kirby and myself that this engagement will be unwise.
Father, I can handle my own affairs. Alice, darling, for the last time, will you marry me?
No, Tony. I know exactly what your father means, and he's right.
No, Alice, he's not.
Now, Alice, you're in love with this boy, and you're not marrying him because we're the kind of people we are.
Grandpa.
Now, I know. You think the two families wouldn't get along. Well, maybe they wouldn't. But who's to say that they're right and that we're wrong?
Oh, I didn't say that, Grandpa. I only feel...
Well, now what I feel is that Tony here is too nice a boy to wake up one day in his life with nothing but stocks and bonds.
How's that?
Yes, mixed up and unhappy the way you are.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Vanderhoff. I'm a very happy man.
Are you?
Certainly I am.
I don't think so. What do you think you get your indigestion from? Happiness? No, sir. You get it because your time is spent in doing things that you don't want to do.
I don't do anything I don't want to do.
Oh, well, of course you do. Well, just last night, you said at the end of a week in Wall Street, you're pretty near crazy. Well, why do you keep on doing it?
What do I keep on? That's my business. A man can't just leave his business.
Well, why not? You've got all the money you could ever need. You can't take it with you, Mr. Kirby.
That's a very easy thing to say, Mr. Vanderhoff, but I've spent my entire life building up my business.
Well, and what's it got you? Same news every morning, same kind of deals, same meetings, same dinners at night, same indigestion. Well, where does the fun come in, Mr. Kirby? Don't you think there ought to be something, well, something more? You must have wanted more than that when you started out. You haven't got too much time, you know. Any of us.
What do you expect me to do? Live the way you do? Do nothing?
Well, I have fun. Time enough for everything. Read, talk, visit the zoo now and then, practice my darts. I even have time to notice when spring comes around. Don't see anybody I don't want to. Don't have 6 hours of things I have to do every day before I get 1 hour in of what I like. And I haven't taken bicarbonate of soda in 35 years. Well, what's the matter with that?
What's the matter with that? Suppose we all lived that way. Going to zoos. Don't be ridiculous, Mr. Vanderhoff. Who would do the work?
Oh, well, there's always people to do the work. You can't stop them. Inventions, and they fly the ocean. Always people to go down to Wall Street, too, because they like it. But from what I've seen of you, Mr. Kirby, you're not one of them. I think you're missing something.
I'm not aware of missing anything.
Well, I wasn't either until I quit. I tell you, I used to get down to that office 9 o'clock sharp every day, no matter how I felt. Lay awake nights for fear I wouldn't get that contract. I used to worry about the world, too. I even got all worked up about whether Cleveland or Blaine was going to be elected president. It seemed awful important then, but who cares now? Well, what I'm trying to say, Mr. Kirby, is that I've had 35 years that no one can take away from me, no matter what they do to the world. You see?
Yes, I do, sir. And it's a very dangerous philosophy, Mr. Vanderhoff. It's un-American. And it's exactly why I am opposed to this marriage. I don't want Honey to come under this influence.
Well, what's the matter with it, Father?
What's the matter with it? It's downright communism is what it is.
Well, you didn't always think so.
Certainly I did. What are you talking about?
I'll tell you what I'm talking about. You didn't always think so because there was a time you wanted to be a trapeze artist.
Don't be an idiot, Tony. I did not.
Oh, yes, you did. I came across those letters you wrote to Grandfather. Do you remember those?
No! How dare you read those letters? How dare you?
Why, that's wonderful, Mr. Kirby. Did you wear tights?
No! The whole thing is absurd. I was 14 years old at the time.
Yes, but at 18, you wanted to be a saxophone player.
Tony!
And at 21, you ran away from home because Grandfather wanted you into the business. It's all down there in black and white. You didn't always think so.
I may have had silly notions in my youth, but thank goodness my father knocked them out of me. I went into the business and I forgot all about them.
Not altogether. There's still a saxophone in the back of your clothes closet.
There is?
That's quite enough, Tony. We'll talk about this later.
No, I want to talk about this now. See, I think Mr. Vanderhoff is right. Dead right. And I'm never going back to that office. I've always hated it, and I'm not going on with it. Oh, and I'll tell you something else. I didn't make a mistake last night. I knew it was the wrong night. I brought you here on purpose. Because I wanted you to see a family as they really were, as they really loved and understood each other. You never understood me. You never had time. Well, I'm not going to make the same mistake you did. I'm clearing out.
Fair enough. What you mean?
I mean, I'm getting out of the business while I still can.
Tony, what are you going to do?
I don't know, Father. Maybe I'll be a bricklayer. But I don't know. But at least I'm going to be doing something I want to do.
That must be the cow.
Well, now tell him to wait a minute, would you, Ed?
Grandpa, please.
Now, Mr. Kirby, Tony here is going through the exact same thing that you and I did when we were his age. We all did it, and we were right. Who among us would be willing to settle when we were young for what we would eventually get? All those plans we made? Well, what happened to them? It's only a handful of the lucky ones that can say they even came close. So, before they clear up that clothes closet, Mr. Kirby, I get in a few good hours on that saxophone.
Excuse me, Grandpa. But before I make the blitzes, how many will be there for dinner?
Oh, Your Highness, allow me to present Mr. Kirby and Mr. Kirby Jr., the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina.
How's that?
How do you do? Before I make the blitzes, how many will be there for dinner?
Oh, well, I'd make quite a stack of them, Your Highness. You can't ever tell.
Good. The Tsar always told me, Olga, do not be stingy with the blitzes.
Excuse me, Mr. Vanderhoff, who did you say that was?
Oh, well, she's the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina. She's cooking our dinner.
Oh.
And speaking of dinner, Mr. Kirby, why don't you and Tony both stay?
Oh, please do. We've got all that food we were going to have last night. I mean, tonight.
Well, how about it, Mr. Kirby? It's going to be a pretty good meal, and it kind of give us a chance to get acquainted. Why not stay?
How about it, Father? Are we staying?
Well, if you'd like to, Tony, I think I'd like to very much.
Now, if Alice would send away that cab, Mr. Vanderhoff.
Oh, well, how about it, Alice? Gonna be a pretty nice crowd. Don't you think you ought to stay for dinner?
I'm staying, Alice. The families ought to get to know each other, don't you think?
But, Mr. Kirby, I thought you... Oh, Tony.
Alice.
Oh, Grandpa, you're wonderful.
Well, now, I've been telling you that for years.
Anthony, what are you doing? I'm tired of waiting in the car.
Sorry, I must have lost track of the times.
Tony, what are you doing? I thought we put an end to this.
Mother, for my sake, can we just forget about what happened last night and move on? I love Alice, and I'm going to marry her. And Father has even approved.
Anthony, is that true?
Yes, it is. Miriam, we ought to accept Alice into the family like Tony has.
Please, Mrs. Kirby, I love Tony, and if the two of us could get along, well, I think that'd make me very happy.
Well, you are a beautiful young lady. For Tony's sake, I will be willing to overlook certain other things.
In addition, our Grand Duchess is cooking us dinner.
Oh, what? There was a letter for you in the icebox, Grandpa.
Oh, well, let me see. The government again.
Hello, Mrs. Kirby.
How do you do?
And Mrs. Kirby?
How do you do?
Miss Sycamore, if you follow me to the office, I'd like to do a little dictating.
Tell that cat. Well.
What to say, Grandpa?
Well, the United States government apologizes.
Dear Mr. Vanderhoff, the United States government has received your letter, and we are very sorry for our mistake. We did not realize that Martin Vanderhoff Sr. died 8 years ago.
Why, what do they mean, Grandpa?
Oh, remember Charlie the Milkman? Buried under my name?
Well, yes.
Well, I just told them that they had made a mistake, and that I was Martin Vanderhoff Jr.
Because of our error, you will soon receive a refund. We are very sorry for your loss. Sincerely, Wilbur C. Henderson, the Internal Revenue Department.
Oh, my Grandpa, you old crook.
Oh, well, sure.
Excuse me, Mr. Vanderhoff, how did you say you escaped income tax?
Tonight, my friends, we're going to...
Hello.
How do you do?
Fine, fine. Glad to see you.
What's has happened?
Well, now he's relaxing.
Hello! Hello, the door was open!
Oh, hello, Mrs. Sycamore. I'm ready to raid the fly now.
Tonight is a very good night. You know,
I'm coming. Everything will be ready in a moment. You can sit down now. Oh, food! Don't mind if you do.
Please stay for dinner, Miss Wellington. Oh, everybody come to dinner. Everything with you. Mr. Kirby? Mrs. Kirby?
You don't like Russian food, Mr. Kirby.
Oh, yes, but you must be careful of your indigestion, Mr. Kirby.
Nonsense. I haven't any indigestion.
Well, Miss Sycamore, how's your trip to the Adirondacks?
And Elisha, when they sit down together.
Oh, well, now, quiet, everybody, quiet. Well, sir, here we are again, and we want to say thanks once more for all that you've done for us. Things seem to be going along fine. Alice is going to marry Tony, and it looks as if they're going to be very happy. Well, of course, all the fireworks blew up, but that was Mr. DePinna's fault, not yours. We've all got our health, and as far as anything else is concerned, we'll leave it to you. Thank you.
Oh, Mr.
Well,
Kirby,
Kirby,
we like to go to
It's
nice
nice to see you.
There goes the Adirondacks.
It's a very good thing.
Wonderful.
It's like a